Born and raised in Croatia, Tatjana and Lana transplanted to Kansas City about 20 years ago, eventually creating a top-producing real estate team. Being fluent in multiple languages enables this dynamic duo in ways where many other realtors simply can't compete. Both partners bring many skills to their team, creating a perfect recipe for success. Find out just how these ladies operate their real estate world in their episode of Signature on the Industry. Recently, I had the opportunity to sit with Tatjana Nikolic and Svetlana Rajsic, or Lana for short. They are the first top-producing team that I have interviewed. So I asked, how does your team dynamic work?
So I think what makes it nice for being on the team versus being a single agent, because I started out with being single agent, is to have that backup in when you are out there, especially with the market the way it is now. If you're showing homes, you always have somebody that can follow up and ask another agent if there's any questions the client might have while you're driving or while you're doing everything else that you have to do for a client. And so that's what kind of helps us.
Yes, that makes it easy for us. I can stay home since I'm a stay-at-home mom. So when Lana is out showing, I'm ready at home. I can get the contract ready, and then I do our marketing, most of it, right? And then staging when we have a listing. I do that part. We get out and help our sellers stage. Of course, we ask for permission, but like we stage with their own stuff, and that makes it like their furniture. Of course, we don't have extra, but we always do that, and that helps a lot.
Great. So, what qualities do you possess that make you strong realtors?
I don't know. I think I've been in healthcare for 20 years, and I think this is a different way of taking care of people. But you still have to show them you care, and you still have to listen. And
yes.
I think at the end of the day, you just really have to do is what they want, what's best for them and what's right. And I know the market is kind of busy, and that makes it sometimes hard to slow down and to hear what they really are looking for, and especially because we're kind of limited. But I think it helps us kind of determine the need and find what they really want.
Yes, and being there, getting answers on time. I think that's the most important thing, because answering your phone. So
yes.
I think that's number one thing.
Yeah.
Communication, of course,
being
because if you get a message or phone call and and then you respond after 3 hours. Sometimes it's okay, but if that happens all the time, people expect that you're there for them, and I think that's number one thing. I'm really good at that. I respond almost in 5-10 minutes, 15. If I'm going to be away, I'll let my clients know. If I have appointment, I do that. I send them a text and let them know I'm going to be away. I'm not going to be next to my phone, and so I do that ahead of time.
Great answer, ladies. Can you tell me, how do you work with other professionals in this industry?
I think we're all busy, and I think the key thing for all of us is to remember that patience and be kind to each other, because at the end of the day, we all have a client that we need to take care of, and I think we need to take care of each other at the same time, and just remember to slow down and just be kind to each other, and just try to do the best we can, and that's all we can ask for at the end of the day.
I agree, yes, and kind of add that we could also always learn from each other, from other realtors. I always ask questions. I still do, even after 5 years. So that's one more thing, that we should be friendly and try to help each other, ask questions.
Absolutely.
Just let them. It
takes time, but
it takes a little.
yeah.
And you practice that every day. Mm-hmm. We had a thing where we had 5 units, and we had it on the market for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and it wasn't selling. And Tatjana texted me. She was overseas, and she said, "Hey, we're gonna put those 5 units in a package, and we're gonna list it." And I'm thinking, that doesn't make no sense. But okay. And
because we represent a buyer, and he bought them in February.
Fixed them up, and we're gonna resell. She put them as like as a package. We had 3 offers by that evening.
And we saw that
And
while I was
like,
on vacation.
I mean, just because you don't see it,
Right.
it doesn't mean it's not
Yes.
there. It's not out
Yes.
there.
It's good to have a new perspective,
Yes.
a new dynamic.
And so I would say, like, I mean, could team be a disaster? I'm sure it could, but it's so nice.
When it makes sense, it makes sense.
It does. It really does.
What advice can you give agents who may want to build a team?
You know what? I think the best thing to do is just do it. Like, if you're thinking about it, there is a reason why you feel a need to have a team. Like, we all need support. We all need that other person that kind of helps you balance it out, whether it's 1 or 2 or 5 or however many you think you need. And we're so busy, and I just happen to be lucky to have one of my closest friends to work with me, and it kind of gives me an excuse to call her, even if it's to talk about other houses. I know it might sound cheesy, but it really does make a difference when you work with somebody that you really enjoy talking to and working with. So yes, I would say if you're thinking about it, you should do it.
You should be, of course. I think if that's your family, somebody you trust, yes. It doesn't have to be your family, of course, but you have to have somebody you can trust. I think that's number one.
Yes.
And then
to support you and
to support you, and somebody that has, that's going to the same direction that where you're going, actually, not the opposite way. I mean, you need to, of course, like, I think really important thing too is if you have a problem, you have to tell each other. Like, of course, we had a couple of little things, but we never came to the point where we're like, oh, we talked about it, okay, I need help here, or Lana, I don't think this is right, or she'll tell me, I don't think, I think that's a good way of doing it, honestly. And we have a great relationship. And we have known each other 20 years, right?
Yeah.
20 years. So that makes, I think this was the best decision we made, honestly, 5 years ago, and I want to thank her. But we need to tell you a story.
Tell me your story.
When I was, getting my test and my real estate exam done, I took online school. I had a most difficult time passing national exam. I went.
And part of
honestly,
why?
I'm not
Because of the
ashamed to say.
language.
Like,
No,
I went.
It's a language. It's a
No.
language, and she's doing
She
it
always
online.
says that. She always says
It
that.
is.
Tricky.
It is.
It's so
It is very
tricky.
tricky.
But I'm stubborn. That's number one thing. I am. I want to do whatever I want to do, and that's me. But and it's kind of good. I had my youngest was, I think, a year old when I was trying to do it. So I have 3 daughters, and so it was like you have to get everything done at home, and then go back to studying at night. And I took online school. I couldn't go to every day was like 8 to 5. You had to go 2 weeks. And I was like, what do I do? Like, I didn't have books, they provide one book, but basically it's really, you cannot find. I would go in and I know when I made a mistake, it would be 1 or 2 questions, and I come back home, well, I sign up, I wait 24 hours, it was like 24 hours. I go following, I don't wait to find. I was like, I'm going to go, I have to go, I'm going to press this time. And I don't, and I fail again and again. So finally I was like, Lana, you have license, because I didn't, I did see it, on your Facebook, but maybe at that time you got it.
I
and
just
sold
got
your
it,
home.
and so I was buying houses. I never meant to sell for other people. I really.
So that's how she started.
I did it because so I can go look at the houses. I really enjoy looking at houses.
Yeah.
So then she was like, "Oh, I always wanted to do that," and I'm like, "Well, why don't you do it?"
Yes. So that's how, so the make the story short. I mean, it's taking too long. But what she did, she came and she brought me a book. It was a folder where she took notes.
I took my notes,
and I had last chance to pass the exam. It was February 11th. I remember it. My lucky number 11. I love it. See, I have the number thing again. And she came and she was like, here's $65. It was 65 for some reason. I think it used to be 50. They upped it to 65 at that time. Yes, I remember 50. I paid a few times. Okay, so she goes, here. She brought the money in an envelope and she gave me the money. And they gave me her notes. I went the following morning. It was my last chance, my certificate. And I came and I went there and I passed the exam after so many tries. I'll be honest, after so many tries, because I was stubborn. I didn't want to study. I would just go in and play a game. It was a game for me. I was mad. But then see, Lana gave me money, and I still have that money till today. $65 in an envelope, and it has our names on it. See, and I saved it. And I passed. So I think that's a really beautiful story. And I think honestly, that changed my life and my career. Yes.
And she always say that. She always say that.
No, I honestly say yes. I do have a college degree, but I know with small children, I wouldn't be able to, I just, I wanted to stay home. I had my own
And this gave
stuff.
you the opportunity to
Yes.
do that.
Yes, and I don't think without her help, I would be, here where I am today.
Absolutely. Okay, ladies, what is your craziest real estate story?
We had a client that we went and looked at the house, and as we were walking out, they want to make an offer. As we were walking out, she saw the sign. It said, all because two people fell in love. And she's like, I wonder if they would leave the sign. Well, I'm like, probably not, because they probably fell in love. And they left the sign. So we didn't get that house, sad story, but I ended up looking it up online, and I ordered them the same sign. So when they bought a house, we did a final walkthrough. They left. I said, okay, we're going to the closing. I was like, oh, I don't think I locked the door. So I went back and hung the sign in a different house, but yep.
Oh, that's so fun. Oh my gosh, I love it, I love it, I love it.
But because I was like, I'm not gonna ask them to leave
Yes.
all because you wouldn't. So I went and bought it. I went online, took a picture, went on Amazon and bought
my
them the
gosh,
same
oh
sign
my gosh, I
and
love
put it
that
in their
story.
house. And she was just like, I didn't say nothing. We just put it back and went to a closing. So when they came back, the sign.
Is there?
She was so excited
Oh, I
about.
bet she was.
Yeah. So anyway, just to see.
Okay.
I mean.
You've been fantastic. Thank you so much, ladies.